But Jess, to get back into some of your notes, you said that you got into a total loss car wreck on your first date with your now ex, I think who you mentioned earlier on. You said, who ended up being my first official boyfriend. Yeah. Even though you cried to him for hours, told him to find someone better. And after the car wreck, I dated him for a whopping 8 hours before you broke up with him?
Yeah. So
wait, what?
It's kind of a crazy story, but basically on our first date, I wrecked my car and he was my passenger, and we were just going across the street to get something from his house. So I mean, it's awful. It was a car accident. It was horrible. And it was a total loss. But I wasn't really concerned with the car accident or the fact that I lost my car. I was more concerned with the fact that I just humiliated myself in front of him. So I told him, like, this is kind of the way my life is looking right now. I think maybe you should find somebody else.
This car crash.
And I'm so sorry I almost killed you. And so that's why I was crying for so long after the car accident. And he told me that he still wanted to pursue me, and he initially chose me because we have a lot of similar values. And so he still wanted to continue going out with me. And I'm like, you're kind of insane for that. But then I officially dated him for 8 hours after that as boyfriend, girlfriend, before I got way too much anxiety and told him, like, this is not going to work out. And then a couple months later, when I started talking to somebody else, I went on like 2 dates with this guy. I went to lunch with him one morning, went to mass with him, went to a movie. And then he tells me that he still has feelings for me. And he said, you probably don't feel the same because you're the one who said it wasn't going to work out. But at the time, like, I was having these weird dreams about him all of a sudden. I'm like, this is going to be hanging over my head for the rest of my life if I decide not to kind of pursue this and see if there's anything worth it here. And it kind of just boiled down to the fact that we weren't compatible, and that's why we ended up breaking up. But we also decided not to kiss until marriage, like the first month in, which was an extreme decision and something that I never saw myself doing. But it needed to happen because we had a lot of problems, underlying issues, and we would kiss and make up and everything was fine. And so because of that, we didn't actually get to the bottom of why we weren't compatible. So when we decided to wait for marriage until we became intimate in any way whatsoever, then a lot of those problems were able to surface. And then...
So you guys had kissed, but then you decided to stop just kissing.
And it was very helpful to actually stick to that.
Harder for you or him to do that?
I think it was probably harder for him.
You weren't that attracted to him, were you?
I was. Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well, you're waiting until marriage.
Was it hard for you?
It was hard for me. It was probably just harder for him.
I find that, like, with past relationships myself, like, you kind of need that intimacy when you're trying to solve problems. Because as a guy, if you can't hold her and if you can't, like, you know, do that, then it's very hard to have just a logical conversation. Just logic, no touching, nothing like that.
Yeah, I definitely see that, but I think there's so much more in relationships than just the physical aspect. And for us, that was really helpful because there were a lot of things we weren't talking about because we would just kiss and make up and everything was fine.
Kissing and make up, don't you think that's like kind of healthy sometimes though?
Sometimes it is, but it was more of
a
mask over the problems that needed to be resolved and looked at.
And so are you waiting until marriage when it comes to sex?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Wait, and has that always been your standard?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so wait, are you also virgin? Waiting?
Yes. And I'm just blessed that the Lord has put me in a position to be able to stick to that.
Are you a manifesting virgin or a real one?
I'm a real one.
Oh, yeah? Real one.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd say these days you can sort of just,
claim what you want.
Transferred. I think that's coined on whatever podcast.
You can transmit it.
Yeah, but I give all of the credit to the Lord for just helping me hold myself to that standard because the spirit is so willing, but the flesh is weak. And so I know that the Lord wants what is best for me, and he created me and he knows what is best for me. And so that is my ultimate goal, is just to serve him and love him in every way that I can. And I've seen how even waiting till marriage to kiss, I've seen how even that has benefited my relationships. So
Good
Okay.
for you. Well
All right.
done. Good work.
Just a couple. One question. So the car wreck.
Yeah.
That was, you said you were driving.
Yes, I was.
So like,
Woman
what
driver.
happened there? Did you,
I T-boned a truck. That's what happened.
a truck?
Yeah. You know how truck drivers are.
Like
too.
a
he was
semi-truck
angry.
or like
But
a
it was actually
Ford
crazy
F-150?
because the guy, he was yelling at me at first, and I told him, like, I'll pay for it. It's going to be okay. And he had every right to be upset about it, obviously.
Sure.
But towards the end, he prayed for me and he forgave me. And it was just like this God moment right there because I didn't see that coming whatsoever. And we just like prayed with each other.
Oh, okay.
So,
I love that.
yeah.
Wholesome.
That's so sweet.
Were you both okay? Like
Yeah, we were both
injury-wise?
fine.
Okay, but the car got totaled.
Only my pride was hurt, and I shouldn't have had pride anyways, so it worked out.
Do you think it would have worked out with a guy had you not been in the car crash?
I don't think that really played much of a role in
Uh-huh.
it, except it made me realize how much he did want to pursue me because, in my eyes, that was a valid reason to just leave me off the bat. So I think it made our relationship stronger, if anything.
Got it.